All right, folks. Thank you so much for your patience. My name is David Goodstein. I'm one of the owners here of TMI Communications. And what we're here to do is do a training session. Um, what I'm going to do is break it down into three parts. The first is to give you a background on the campaign itself so you have some information and understanding of what we're trying to do. Secondly, I'm going to go through what the dialer is, how it operates, what to expect. And then third, I'm going to go through the avatar and show you what all of the buttons are and the recordings that are played by those buttons. We have a lot of people on this conference call, so I'm going to hold the questions till the end. That way there's no interruptions and everything can flow nicely. All right, so what we're doing is we're running a solar campaign. And what we're doing is we're finding interested cooperative people throughout the United States who are interested in solar and possibly switching to it. So your job is to find that interested cooperative person and then ask a series of questions. So if there's interest, cooperation, they qualify, you will then transfer the call to a closing agent. Now, some of those agents are my agents specifically, and some of them are our clients. Either way, they have 60 seconds to determine whether or not you did your job by sending over a quality transfer of somebody who is interested, cooperative, and qualified. Now, if you can write this down, uh, it doesn't matter what product or service you're selling, there has to be interest and cooperation, or without it, there's no way for you to continue because the customer just will not be interested. No matter what you have to say, no matter what you're giving away, no matter how good a salesperson you are, if there's not interest and cooperation, there's nothing we're going to be able to do to that customer. For instance, as an example, let's say you were a condom salesman. Well, you wouldn't go to a priest and try to sell him a condom because he would have no interest and probably no cooperation to hear what you had to say. Therefore, he is a bad candidate to sell a condom to. Well, this is no different. If they're not interested in solar or they're not cooperative, there's nothing you're going to be able to do, and there's nothing that the salesperson's going to do afterwards. So your job is to filter through all the garbage calls to get to those people who are interested, cooperative, and qualified. Now, the closing agents, as I said, they have 60 seconds to determine whether or not that person is interested, qualified, or interested, cooperative, or qualified. So the three questions that you'll be asking are you the homeowner? If they are, you continue. If they're not, dismiss the call because they're not going to qualify. You then ask what type of home they have. Is it a single-family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home, multi-family home? What do you have? If it's anything but a single-family home, you dismiss the call. If it's a single-family home, you continue. Then you will ask, how much is your electric bill? If it's less than $100 a month, they're not going to qualify. Discontinue the call. If it's over $100, you will continue. You will then ask them on two separate occasions whether or not they're interested in speaking to somebody and if they want to be transferred. If the answer is no, don't transfer the call. Okay? So they have 60 seconds to determine whether or not you did your job by sending over an interested, cooperative, and qualified person. If the call goes less than 60 seconds, your center will not be paid for that call. You're only paid on the calls that go 60 seconds or longer. So, how does it sound on the closing side? They're going to say something to the effect of, "Thank you for your patience. I understand that you're interested in our solar promotion. Before we go forward, let me ask you a couple of questions just to make sure that you do qualify. Now, are you the homeowner or do you rent the property? You're the homeowner. Congratulations. And what type of home do you have? Single family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home? What do you have? Single family residence. Perfect. And how much is your average electric bill? Oh, it's about $200. Great. Okay, let me tell you about what what we're doing and how we're doing it and see if it's a fit for you. Now, that whole conversation lasted somewhere between 45 and 50 seconds. Now, the fact that the customer was answering the questions to begin with shows the agent that there's interest and cooperation. The fact that they answered the questions correctly shows that you, the agent, did their job and sent over a qualified call. It indicates to that closing agent that yes, it's worth buying this transfer, but more importantly, it's worth the 15, 20, 25 minutes that I'm going to invest of my time in speaking to this customer. Because if there's not interest, there's not cooperation, and they qualify, I'm just wasting my time. All right, so once again, your center will not be paid unless the call goes 60 seconds or longer. All right. The other thing you have to know is that whether they're my agents or my clients' agents, the only way they get paid is on commission only. Only if they sell the deal and the deal gets sold. They don't get paid an hourly wage. They don't get paid a salary. The only way they get paid is if they are successful, the sale goes through, and the installation occurs. That's it. So it's to their advantage to get through these calls as quickly as possible and filter in or filter out all the garbage calls that they get so they can get to the real calls. Because their livelihood depends on it, and they are really trained to do that. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. Again, I'll be asking you questions later on or answering your questions later on. All right, so what I'm going to do is explain how the dialer works. Use a V-sheet dialer system, but it's kind of like V-sheet on steroids. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to open up your soft phone. In my case, I use X-Lite. Right? So the first thing you're going to do is open that up. Now, what you're looking for is available or ready. All right. Once that says available or ready, you will go into our web portal and you will log in. Once you log in, you will hear a recording that says you are the only one in this conference. If you do not hear that recording, log out of both your browser and your X-Lite, open up your browser back, open up the X-Lite, and then go to our web portal and log in again. All right. So on the left-hand side, you see you are paused. If I press it in, it'll show me that I am active. You are only able to take calls if you are active. All right. If you're going to be away from your desk for more than 1 minute, log out. All right. And the reason being is if you are on pause, you are just clogging up the system and causing congestion for all of the other users. So if you're going to be away from your desk, log out and then log back in when you come back. Again, you can only make calls if you are active. Now the way the dialer works is it is dialing for every agent that's logged in, it's dialing about 25 calls at a time. So if there's 100 calls, that's 2,500 calls that are being dialed at any time. When a call gets answered, it will get routed to the first available agent or that agent that is waiting the longest for the next call. The next call will go to the next agent in line, so on and so forth. So it creates a round robin. Now, if you're working an 8-hour shift, you should get somewhere between 500 and 800 phone calls. You're speaking to between 500 and 800 people. Now, what we expect is that you're going to transfer at least 4 billable transfers for each agent. Now, if you think about it, in an 8-hour period, that's one every 2 hours. If you're speaking to just 500 people, that's one billable transfer for every 125 people that you speak to. Now, those are very achievable numbers, and your goal should be at least 4 per day. All right? Now, the owners of the center invested a lot of money to work this campaign. They have to pay for the rent, they have to pay for the furniture, they have to pay for the computers, they have to pay for the internet, they have to pay for the electricity, and they have to pay for the VoIP cost that allows the calls to be connected. But most importantly, they're paying your salaries. Now, in return, do all that on the condition, or the hope, they're going to get a return on their investment. Think about it. The desk that you sit in is like a piece of real estate. It's supposed to be generating money. So if you're not generating the desired results, one of things is going to happen. Either they're going to call me up and say, David, I'm man, I like working with guys, but it's not working out, losing money. Now that's one option. Second option is they're probably going to replace you with someone who is going to produce the desired results. Because if your desk is not earning money, then what's the point? It's wasting everybody's time and money. So you have to take your job very seriously. You have to have goals, and you have to achieve those goals. If you don't achieve the goals, they're going to get rid of you, I promise. All right? So with that being said, there's a couple other buttons I want to show you. Again, we went over, excuse me, the You Are Pause button, You Are Active button. You hang up on the customer or the customer hangs up on you, you must press Hang Up Customer. When you hit Hang Up Customer, a green disposition page will pop up, and you will disposition the call accordingly. Try to be as accurate as you possibly can, because we use data to better manage the campaign and better manage the call centers and better manage the agents. Okay? So, you're going to disposition the call accordingly. In other words, if they're a renter, you're going to disposition them as a renter. If Spanish speaking, they don't speak English, you're going to disposition them as English. If they have an electric bill less than $100, you're going to disposition it for that. Not interested, put me on the do not call list, whatever the disposition is, that's how you're going to do it. Now, if you wanted to transfer a call, now you don't see it on my screen, But between the transfer conference button and the hang up button on your screen, you're going to see something that's called quick transfer. Now, if you're transferring a call, I just want you to press quick transfer. When you do, it will automatically be transferred to a closed agent. It's what's called a blind transfer. You will not be able to hear the closing agent on your end. It will automatically disengage you from the call, and the call will be transferred immediately to that closing agent. So it's very, very simple. I do not want you to press call. I do not want you to press transfer conference. If you do, the call will be stuck in our system and will probably not reach the closing agent. So I only want you to press quick transfer only. When you do, the call will automatically be routed to that closing agent, and a green page will pop up on your end, and you will position the call as a transferred call only. You are not to disposition it as a sale. Sales are for closers. Your openers, therefore, you're going to disposition it as a transferred call only. Now, does anybody have any questions of anything I've said so far before I go on and talk about the avatar? Some of you may ask me or may be thinking about doing callbacks. With this system, we do not allow you to do callbacks for a number of reasons. If someone says, call me back, they're really saying politely is that really not interested. In which case, we're just wasting our time to call them back. Secondly, for the amount of time it will take you to do one callback, you could have talked to a minimum of 5 people. So it's a lot of wasted time, and it's a lot of wasted energy. And believe it or not, doing callbacks is more expensive than inbound calls. So there's an expense issue, a time issue, and an energy issue. So for those 3 reasons, we do not allow you to do manual callbacks. All right. Now, does anybody have any questions? If you do, please unmute your microphones. No questions? Anybody have any questions? Okay. All right. So this is avatar system. The page that you're going to look at is going to be a little bit different. My page tabs. On the left-hand side, this is where your dialer will be. It's what connects the calls, hangs up the calls, transfer the call, and disposition the calls, like I just showed you. On the right-hand side is the avatar itself. And as you can see, each key has a color to it. They represent different things. Okay, and I'm going to go through each and every one of them for you. We tried to make it as easy as possible. Now, like a normal conversation that you'll have with anybody in the world that you meet or speak to, and you're saying something to somebody, there's only 3 possible outcomes. Either someone agrees with what you're saying, they disagree with what you're saying, ask you a question. Well, the same is true with how we set this up with this avatar system. Now, the avatar We call it the vaka system. It's our technology. We created it, and we created it specifically for security. vaka is an acronym. It stands for Virtual Agents Kicking Ass. All right, VAKA. All right. So you can see the green buttons. They're all numbered 1 through 8. That is your pitch. So what you'll be doing is going from 1 to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll do them in order and not miss any of the buttons. There are no shortcuts. You must go through all 8 numbered buttons. All right. So if someone agrees with you, you continue to the next one. If they agree with you there, you continue to the next one. If they agree with you there, you continue all through number 8. Now, as I said, someone either is going to agree with you, disagree with you, or they're going to ask you a question. If they ask you a question, all of these blue buttons are answers to those questions. So if they say, "How are you doing?" you're going to respond by, "I'm doing great, thanks for asking." Someone says, "Oh, I'm not doing too well." "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." All right, it's a follow-up response. After you press one of these buttons, you will go back to wherever number green button that you left. Someone cannot hear you, and you hear me now. They ask you your name. "Oh, my name is Steven." Is that okay? Someone says, "Well, you sound like a computer." "Yes, I'm real. I'm just speaking to you through a computer." "Well, where are you from?" "I'm from West Palm Beach, Florida." "No, what company are you with?" "I'm with Solar Solutions." All right. Positive response. Great. Sometimes you're going to be speaking to children, so they're not the decision makers. So you have to speak to the homeowner. Is your mom or dad there? Can I speak to them? Are you the decision maker? "Oh, we can just call you back." "I'm sorry. Say that again, please." "Is that okay?" These are neutral responses. "Sure, no problem. Understand." These are all positive responses. "Wonderful. Good. Okay, great. Yes. Okay, great." All right. The red buttons, those are all negatives. So if somebody wants to be put on the do not call list, okay, I've already put you on the do not call list. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Sorry to bother you. Now, if they're real insistent, press the do not call list again, the second one, and you'll tell them exactly what we did. All right. If they don't qualify, "I'm sorry, but you don't qualify for this promotion. Goodbye." And then there's no, which is a negative response. Now, if you're playing a recording and the customer is speaking at the same time you're playing the recording, both can't be speaking together. All right, it's either one or the other, but it can't be both. So you have to give them the right of way. And to do that, just like on a CD player or DVD, you have a stop button. That's what this is. It will stop the recording. Let them continue speaking, address their question, comment, or concern, and then go back to where you left off. All right, if someone disagrees with you, you have these yellow buttons. All right, they're all built-in rebuttals. All right, so someone says, "I'm interested," you would press this one. Someone wants to see a website, you'll press that button. They're not interested, again, press this one. "Oh, I need to speak to my spouse." You would press this one. "Are you interested in lowering your electric bill?" "How much does it cost?" "Not interested the third time." "Oh, I'm just too busy for this." All right. Every time you press one of the yellow buttons, you have to follow it up with one of these two green buttons. So, are you interested in lowering your electric bill? Sure, you can benefit in that. If we can show you how the system is not going to cost you anything out of pocket, I'm sure you would go along with that, right? So every time you press one of these yellow buttons, follow up with one of these two green buttons, and then go back to where you left off in the script. So let's hear what the script sounds like. And again, I'm not going to play the recordings because apparently you guys cannot hear them. So I'm just going to kind of win. Hi, this is Steven with Home Solar Solutions. How are you doing today? Well, pretty good. Thanks for asking. Well, what we're doing is, and it goes through the introduction, goes through the pitch, explains who we are, what we're doing, and why we're doing it, seeing if there's interest. If there's interest, well, we have to get you qualified. So the first qualifying question is, are you the homeowner? Now, they have to be the homeowner. That's one of the three qualifying questions. If they're not a homeowner, cannot speak to them, it's a waste of time. You would press, I'm sorry, but you don't qualify. Press this red button here and get rid of the call and go into the next call. If they are the homeowner, you continue down to number 5. And what type of home do you have? Do you have a single-family residence, townhouse, condo, mobile home? What do you have? If it's anything but a single-family, standalone residence, you will end the call by pressing, I'm sorry, but you don't qualify. If it's a single-family home, you'll ask the third qualifying question. And what is your average electric bill? Is it over or less than $100? If it's less than $100, they don't qualify, and you will end the call. If it's over $100, you will continue. Go down to number 7. So do you want to find out more? If the answer is no, okay, why don't you? All right, and then use one of these yellow buttons followed by one of these two green buttons. And then go back. Hey, would you like to find out more? All right, and then you go down to number 8, which says, okay, is it okay if I transfer you to one of our specialists? If the answer is no, find out why not, and then go to one of these yellow buttons followed by one of these two green buttons. If they say yes, then follow it up with, hold on just a second. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they ask you a question or voice a concern, address their question and concern, and then go back to where you left off. If they ask you a question that you cannot possibly answer, we have 2 orange buttons. Well, actually 3 orange buttons. Let me get one of our specialists on the phone for you. They'll be happy to answer that for you. But before I do, I have to ask you a few questions just to make sure you do qualify. Again, you cannot transfer somebody unless they're qualified. Homeowner, type of home, and electric bill over $100. Now, does anybody have any questions? Please unmute your phones. Guys? Nobody has any questions. Okay. Well, what I want you to do at this point is I want you to pair off in teams of 2. And I want you to role play. I want one of you to act as the opening agent and one of you to act as the customer. Whoever is acting as the customer, I want you to give the opening agent a hard time as possible. Then when you're done, I want you to switch roles and continue to switch roles until everybody is comfortable. When you're comfortable, I want you to go to your manager and I want them to test you. When they feel that they are comfortable with you taking calls, you are welcome to log in and start taking calls. So, with that being said, I wanted to welcome everybody to the team. We look forward to a long, long relationship with you. We wish you all good luck. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please get with me and I will answer and address all of those questions, comments, and concerns. Thanks again, everybody, and we thank you for your patience. And again, welcome you to the team.